topic is dedicated to Bob Maynard's expression that problems are opportunities in disguise. So, what Sibes says, life is full of problems, but how we approach those problems often determines whether we are happy or miserable. Bob Maynard says that problems are opportunities in disguise. Disguise. I don't know. Anyway, if we approach problems with Maynard's attitude, we can see that problems are really opportunities to learn about ourselves and others. They enable us to live happier and more fulfilling lives. So what I write. I totally agree with Bob Maynard's expression that problems are opportunities in disguise. By definition, problems are a source of worries. Moreover, can have creativity in their solutions. So by definition, problems are a source of, or something which is a source of worries. But it can be a source of creativity due to finding the solution. So basically, I have to rewrite it. I found out how to write it more interesting. So, by definition, problems are a source of worries. Is anything a problem is anything which is the source of worries. But it can be a source. So you can find creativity. You can always find creativity and find the solutions. Use creativity in finding the solutions. Something like this. Complex, ambiguous problems require imagination and flexibility, which can make our lives happier. What is next? Maynard's quote applies to all kinds of problems. I faced a problem just last week when our kitchen sink developed a serious leak. There was water all over our kitchen floor and piles of dishes to be washed. But our landlord was out of town for the week. I had a big family. I had 6 children, so we couldn't afford to wait until he got back, and I couldn't afford a couple $100 to pay for a plumber on my own. So I took the opportunity to learn how to fix it myself. I went to the library and found a great fix-it-yourself book. In just a few hours, I figured out what was causing the leak and how to stop it. If it weren't for that problem, I probably would have relied on plumbers and landlords all my life. Now I know I can handle leaky pipes by myself. So what I write? Any problem by Maynard's definition requires solution. When our laboratory developed a problem and the biosafety hood stopped working, we had piles of tissue culture plates and research work couldn't continue. Can you continue on? After the technician inspection, it was determined that the lab needs a new biosafety hood. After the technician inspections, it was determined that the lab needs a new biosafety hood. But the work in cell culture laboratory should have been moving on. The decision was made moving on according to the timeline. According by the timeline. According to the timeline. I know I am not very good about writing this. I don't think it's a passing score at all, but at least to have something, some ideas. So the decision was made by myself is to work on the bench and find the techniques in the manual book which would allow us to use cell cultures on the bench. Even though my lab supervisor was out of town, I couldn't afford to stop the experiment. I had to find a sterile condition technique in the lab. To work in the lab. And it was a success. I think it is always important. So, the other problem, according to the writer, I think it's important to remember that no matter how big a problem is, it is still an opportunity, whatever kind of situation we face. Problems give us the chance to learn and grow both physically and mentally. For example, when I had a problem with my car and I couldn't afford the repairs right away, my problem became an opportunity to get some exercise, something I've been wanting to do anyway. I had to walk a mile each day to get to the bus stop and back, but in the meantime, I got the chance to start getting back in shape and I saved a lot on gas. And what I write, I think it is always important to realize what perspective the problem might have and important for decision-making skills. When my project at work was discontinued, I had to worry only about college classes and had a lot of spare time until I could find another job. For a while it was a disaster for me because I'm usually very busy at work. Instead, I started to exercise and developed my own fitness program. My life and priorities changed to be better, so I became better looking and more productive at work. After a while, I understood that problems is what makes the progress of our life. Problems indeed are just new milestones in life. It gives us the chance to stop and think and learn how to reevaluate the whole everyday process. Kind of. So, I've come to realize that problems are really part of what makes life worth living. Problems challenge us and give us the opportunity to do things we've never done before, learn things we never knew before. They teach us what we are capable of doing. They give us the chance to surprise ourselves.